Today is Saturday, November 2nd, and daylight savings time occurs tonight. So today we're going to be moving the clock backward 1 hour. This is referred to as the church clock, but in reality it's actually the town clock. It's just housed in the church's steeple. The clock was donated by John French in the late 1800s. It's a purely mechanical clock using a system of cables, pulleys, and a pendulum to operate. The only electrical component at this point are the lights that illuminate the face of the clock. Speaking of the clock face, the face of the clock, including the hands, are made out of wood. The loudspeakers you see at the top of each clock face are part of the church's chime system, and they're not part of the clock itself. Prior to today, I'd never seen the back side of the clock, so I decided to climb up into the steeple to take a look. So I thought the first thing I'd do is show you how to access the clock tower. We have the staircase, or ladder, that goes up to a hatch that in turn leads us up into the bell tower. So let's see if I can do this with camera in hand. So far, so good. You can hear the clock ticking at the top. And then go up a set of stairs. We'll need a little cleaning. And this takes us around into the room where the clock is housed. The actual clock face is about 65 feet in the air, and it's quite some distance above the room we're in now. So to get up there, you have to climb a series of wooden ladders, presumably installed when the church steeple was constructed. And you work your way up through several different landings. One of the landings contains the church bell, and that's actually just below where the clock face is. You can hear the street traffic. It's tight quarters up here, so I can't really get a great view of the bell. I'll try taking a photo. The church burned in February of 1876. There's an inscription on the bell which talks about the fire and notes that the bell was recast and presented to the church in September of that same year, September of 1876. The clock is actually above the bell, so you have to climb up one more ladder, and this is what you see when you get up there. It's quite a lattice of wood framing that frames the top of the steeple. And this is the back side of the clock. The clock face is about 6 feet in diameter, and you can see the wood that frames it. The rod that you see coming back out of the center is the mechanism that turns the clock hands. Every Thursday, the clock is wound. Needless to say, over the 130 years that the clock has existed, a number of people have inherited the task of winding the town clock. Currently, Al Douglas fills that role. My first question for Al was, once the clock is wound, how long will it keep running?
Say, if I, like normally I do it on Thursday, if I didn't come back on a Thursday and do it, it would probably be running out Saturday morning.
Okay,
would be,
so there are a few days of leeway.
You still have a good day and a half or so if you remember to get back up here and do it. And that's based on the number of rings from the gear that I go by.
So are we halfway through a cycle now, or?
We're sort of almost halfway through, yeah, because today's Monday.
Yeah.
And by the time I come back on Thursday, there should be 3 or 4 more rings of the cable left on.
Oh wow! So you really are right down to the bottom. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And normally, as I said, if you don't come back with those 3 or 4 rings left on a Thursday, you still have a good day and a half. By Saturday afternoon, if you don't do it, it's going to stop. Basically what we simply do is we have a little key that helps us keep the winding, I call it the winding wheel.
All right.
And basically it's just there for storage, and then you take it off, put it on the pole that's attached to the gear wheel of the actual clock. And then this key locks it in so that when you're winding it, this doesn't slide off. So what I basically do is simply, I can use both hands, which is still a little awkward, but I use one hand and I switch back and forth because of the length of time it takes. It takes roughly anywhere from 4 to 6 minutes to wind it.
Are you serious?
Seriously.
I thought
if you just take your time doing it.
Right. Okay.
But it is about 4 to 6 minutes to do it. Basically now you just wind the clock, and I usually start with my left hand, but that's just me. And you wind it towards you. It comes towards you and goes out the other way. So I bring it this way, and you start hearing the clicks of the clock. And then,
so would you bring it all the way over to the...
Yes, you bring it all the way over to the left.
All right.
Of that wheel. And then once you reach that last ring, which is a solid gold color, then you know the clock is completely wound at that point. And then simply that's what you do. And you just simply keep winding until that happens.
This is a pretty good workout, Al.
It is a good workout.
How long have you been doing this?
Oh, I've been doing it since 2011. And every year, if I finish a year, I mark it. So you can see I've been doing it for 2 years.
All right.
And at the end of December for 2013, you will see 3 years of 2013. And that's basically what you do. There's not much else to do.
At least twice a year, we have to change the time on the clock. Once in the spring, once in the fall. It's all coordinated with the daylight savings time. Stan Bailey, former chair of the Board of Trustees and longtime overseer of the clock, will be showing us how to move the clock hands backward today.
Turned it some, right?
Yeah. So I go by what you're telling me out there in the street.
Yep.
You say, okay, turn a little more.
So turning that rod up there turns the hands?
That turns the hands up above.
Okay. All right. And do you have a rough idea of, one 360-degree turn makes the hands go?
Several turns.
Several turns. Okay. It takes 2 people to adjust the clock. You need 1 person in the clock tower adjusting the hands and the mechanism. And you need a second person across the street watching what you're doing. Today, Gloria Byron is across the street watching the clock hands for us.
All right, go the other way. Just a little bit more. There you go.
Right there?
Well, you went backwards now.
I thought you told me to.
No, I didn't. Go forward. No, not that this way. There, right there.
You sure?
Yes.
No.
But it moved again. Did you move it again?
No.
All right, well.
How's that?
Okay, that's good.
Okay, I'm going to tighten it right there.
Okay, it's close to 28 now, but that's close.
No, that's good. It's probably 28 now by the time I get there.
All righty.
Wasn't too hard, was it?
That's all it is.
Okay.
Thank you, Gloria.
Bye.
Thank you. Take the rest of the day off with pay.
Oh, thank you.
Well, that's about it. I'd like to thank Stan Bailey and Al Douglas for taking time out of their day to show us how the clock operates. I'd also like to thank Dave Powelson and Gloria O'Connor Byron for their assistance this morning. Thank you.